There are a lot of things that are going to hurt in your divorce. There are a lot of things that need to be healed. There are things that come up over and over again, and you just wonder, when are they finally going to be over? And one of the biggest ones that'll probably keep you up at night is, how is this going to affect your kids? And even more so, what your kids say to you after the divorce. Let's talk about this today. Welcome to the Crazy Ex-Wives Club, a podcast dedicated to helping women navigate the emotional journey that is divorce. I'm your host, Erica, and if you're trying to figure out life after the big D, welcome to the club. Whether you're contemplating divorce or dealing with the aftermath or any of the many phases in between, the club has got you covered. Each week, you'll hear stories from women who have been in your shoes. This isn't about spilling tea on divorce details. This is about giving you the tools to take control of your own healing journey. Listen in weekly for advice, tips, and tools to help you move through each stage of the process. Welcome back to another episode of the Crazy Ex-Wives Club. I'm your host, Erica, and today I wanted to talk about a post that I saw over on Threads. I think it's something that if you are going through the divorce process and you have kids, I can guarantee you can relate. I don't know a child who hasn't said this. I know they are out there, but I think the majority of our kids have a hard time transitioning between the two houses, even if they love both parents, that there is a difficulty in it. So I was scrolling online last night before I went to bed, and there was a post a woman had shared that, she's divorced. They have 50-50. Her daughter goes back and forth a full week here, a full week there. And her daughter had shared to the mom, the time I spend with you goes so fast and it goes so slow at dad's. I just don't want to go back over there. And of course, this mom was sharing about how this had just shattered her heart. And she was doing her best to keep it together, but she herself was really hurt by what this little girl was saying. I mean, how many of you have heard something like that from your kids? I know I've heard it from my kid. I've shared, when we were first divorced and I would go to drop him off at his dad's house, a lot of times there was a babysitter because his dad worked retail. And so there'd be a couple hours from after school until when his dad got home. And I would have to pull my child out of the car, kicking and screaming, having a full-on meltdown. He would be happy, no problem. We'd pull in, he'd see the babysitter's car and absolutely lose his mind. Now, in my case, this was a big catalyst for me to push back on what our timing situation looked like, because I think we can all agree it doesn't make a lot of sense to have our kid with a third party like a babysitter unless it's necessary. No shame if that's the reality. Again, it's just another thing. It's another standard that your child would have to get used to. And in my case, that was something that I pushed back on. It's why I didn't go for 50-50. I was adamant that he can have as much time with our son as long as he is home. Absolutely. All the way up to 50-50 as long as he's present for it. If he's not present for it, if there's always a babysitter, if there's always somebody else, then we need to relook at that. But I digress, as I often do. Let's go back to this comment. So this woman had shared her thoughts and her feelings, and I was reading through what people were saying back to her. And the reason that I was so motivated to come on here and talk about this today is because it's a really important how we, as the adult in the situation, choose to lead our children through these experiences. And there's a difference, there's a gap between your feelings and their feelings. And so often we put our feelings, we put the filter of our feelings on the things that kids are saying. So in this instance, do I think that this daughter was having a rough time? Absolutely. Do I think that she enjoyed being at her mom's house more? Absolutely. Do I think that she hated being at her dad's? Probably not, but I think we can also all agree moms and dads run different houses. Even our two houses have very different rules between the two houses. So sometimes one is just easier or more fun, or they're more bonded to that parent. But it doesn't necessarily mean that something bad is happening. And so when your kids come to you with these feelings, because guess what? They're going to have feelings because you had feelings, right? Do you have feelings about the new path that your life is on? Absolutely. And are they big? And are they overwhelming? And are they scary? Okay, so now take all those feelings and put them in a teeny tiny little person who doesn't have the capacity to move through emotions the same way as an adult does, but they're still feeling it. Now, the silver lining is this: kids process and adapt so much faster than we do as adults. It simply becomes the new norm, but they take their guidance based on how they see trusted adults react and lead the way. So, when your kids come to you with these feelings that they are going to have about having two houses, it's really important for you to have done the work prior to reflect on what is important to you. How do you want to show up in those moments? And what is in the best interest of your kids? Not you. Not how pissed you are at your ex, not how resentful you are at whatever he might be pulling, but what is in the best interest for your kids. Now, there is study upon study that when we're looking at safe, healthy homes, it is best for children to have equal access to both parents. And when there are other things like abuse going on, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the majority of, quote unquote, normal divorced homes. Parents are probably still kind of pissed at each other. They probably still take some jabs. It might not be working so well together yet, but you got a kid that's got to figure out how to go back and forth between these two houses, and they're struggling, and they come to you. So prior to them coming to you, what's really important? For me, it was really important that I did not want to be the one that was in the way of the relationship that my son had with his dad. I knew that I believed and wholeheartedly agreed with the research that said kids need both parents. So that meant that I was willing to make sure that he had access to his dad and his dad had access to him as often as they were both available. I was not going to reduce that time just to be spiteful. I wasn't going to change that time just to get more money. I wanted him to have the same exposure or experience he would have had if we had stayed in one house. Now, the way it goes, if you stay in one house, yes, you kind of sort of get 100% of the time. So the best you can do when there's two houses is 50-50. I knew that was really important to me. What's important to you? You need to sit down and you need to think through, because when your kid comes to you with these statements of, I really don't want to go to dad's, and mom, I just really like being here more, and I can't talk to dad, or all the other things that kids are going to say, you already need to have your standpoint on that solidified. You need to be able to lean on the fact of, you know what? I believe that it is in my child's best interest to spend time with their other parent. Okay. If that is your value, if that is your core belief, then now your role is helping your child navigate how difficult it is to have two houses. So, in that thread that I shared, ideally in that situation, if the mom could have held space, first, acknowledge the emotion. It must be hard. It must be hard to have two houses. Or make it a statement. It is hard to have two houses. You are doing something that is really difficult. What does that do? When you reflect back to somebody, when you put words, especially for a kid, because a kid doesn't have words around their emotions, when you reflect back and give them the words for them to take what they're feeling in their body and turn it into a statement, a communication tool that they can then use to align with you on, this helps to alleviate the tension and the pull in the body. It's like your emotions, think of a big red balloon. They get bigger and they get bigger and they get bigger, and there's more tension in that balloon. Well, when you reflect back, when you say this is really hard, puts a little pinprick in there, right? It starts to let out some of that pressure that's built up. What's probably going to happen next? That kid's going to say, yeah, it is. And you know what you do next? You tell them that that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. And it's okay that it sucks right now. And it's okay that you don't like it right now. They don't know whether what they're feeling is okay or is it not okay. And so by you leading the way It's really hard to have two houses. It's okay that you feel that way right now. And then, as the adult, you're going to help lead them through this unknown territory. Your dad loves you very much, and it is really good for you to spend time with him. I know that he loves you. I know that he loves having you over. And I know that you love him too, even if right now it's hard to have two houses. This is such a crucial step for you as the parent and the adult to be able to help your child navigate what's happening in divorce. When I see this not happen, typically you have a child who continues to act out more and more and more. Either the accusations get worse, the tantrums going in between houses get worse, they start acting out at one of the houses. They are screaming for somebody to help them navigate something that they have no idea. They just know that in their body, they have all these feelings. And why is that? Because our nervous system, our central nervous system gets activated. It's automatic. It happens without our control. And when it perceives a threat, it moves into trying to protect ourselves. So your kids are going through a lot of stress in divorce. There's a lot of unknowns. Their sense of safety has been disrupted. Your role is to help reestablish that sense of safety for both houses. It is not your job to do work at the other house. It's not your job to control how that other parent parents. But it is part of your job to support your child in being able to move forward in what their new norm is. I think my son was about 6. He was 6 by the time he started finally sharing his words. I don't like two houses. I don't want to have two houses. I don't want to go over there. And it took a lot of time of me saying, I understand. And I miss you when you're there, but I know that your dad loves you. And I know that you guys have a good time. I know that this is important for you. Reiterating those statements reestablishes that sense of safety. It's okay that you go back and forth between the two houses. You don't need to worry about mom when you're at dad's house. I want you to have fun. Your job as the parent is to help them see that those things are okay. And yes, it is really hard on your mommy heart because you want to do nothing other than protect your child. You want to make them feel so loved and so safe and so secure. And when they're coming to you and they're telling you that they'd rather be at your house, your first reaction is going to be to try and fight to make that happen. And that is where that first homework I gave you, get really clear on why you want your child to spend time with the other parent. What value does that bring for your child? How does that help them? How does it create a better relationship for them, or at least the opportunity for them to have a better relationship? So that when you're in those moments, when this child comes up to you and is begging, please, mom, don't make me go. Please don't make me go. And you have the skills to be able to meet them, sit in the muck with them. Sit in the muck. That's what they're asking for. Don't leave them alone. Don't stay separate. Sit in it with them. This sucks. And we're going to get through it. And it's going to be okay. And I'm here for you. And your dad loves you too. I didn't really realize how hard this experience was for a kid until I myself was living between two houses. If you've been struggling to find the right support to help you figure out what your next step is, the club is your answer. Launching this summer, we'll be hosting a private divorce group for you to get the support, the inspiration, and the guidance you need to be able to find the answers for you to finally move forward. No matter if you are unhappily married, trying to figure out what those next steps are, or in those early phases of separation and divorce where it feels like a constant uphill battle and you just want to get your feet underneath you, the club is going to be your place. Every single month, I offer support calls, networking calls to meet other women, and a signature program to guide you from confusion to clarity. On top of that, my most favorite part is every quarter, I'm going to send you a healing gift. You get a kit full of tools, support items, things to help you on your healing journey. The club is going to open up this summer, so make sure to get on the wait list. The link is in the show notes so that you have early access. And so the closing note I want to share with you is we can talk about the logical things that we know are different, okay? The laundry detergent, little things. I was like, why would my ex switch laundry detergent? We've used the same laundry detergent the entire time we've been married, or the fabric softener. Well, all those switched for whatever reason, and that's all new scents. So now you're sleeping in one bed that smells like this, and then you go to the other house and now it smells completely different. Or candles or air fresheners. You know, I worked for a beauty brand that is the largest purchaser of certified organic essential oils. My house did not have synthetic fragrances in it. We did not use Downy. We didn't use all this other stuff. The other house started using it. Those are all shocking to the senses. You know, how your blankets feel, what things smell like. Maybe you bought a different brand of milk and it tastes different in their cereal every morning. Every time they go between the two houses, it is an adjustment to their five senses. But kids are resilient. I mean, think about when kids go to school, they know that there's rules at school and they know that there's rules at home, and they know how to navigate between the two. And the same is true for the two houses. The thing I didn't realize, which adds a little bit of why they're struggling, is when I started to live between two houses, even though I'm an adult, I packed what I needed. So Thursday through Sunday, I'd lived in one state, and Sunday night through Thursday morning, I lived in a different state. So that meant every single Wednesday, I was packing a bag. Do I have everything I need? I was trying to plan ahead. Do I have all my work stuff? Do I have my monitor? Do I have my mouse, right? Like, do I have the things that I need? And then I'd get to the other house and I'd be like, I wish I had packed this. Or I'd start shipping stuff, right? You know, little Amazon habits, but I'd ship, you know, maybe I'd look at when it was supposed to be delivered. Okay, I'd ship it to the house that I was going to be at so I could get it sooner. It'd get delayed. Then I'd be at the wrong house. I'd have to wait another week. There were all of these little things that just made it a little bit harder, a little bit more frustrating. So if I let those things really get to me, then it threw me for a loop for a long time. Like, I was constantly frustrated, constantly struggling. This food is at the other house. I didn't bring it this time, or I didn't bring all the things. Okay. And what ended up happening is I sat down with my son and I said, hey, I want to say something. He's like, yeah. I don't know how old he was at this point. And I'm like, I want to apologize. It is really hard to go between two houses. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I didn't realize exactly how frustrating it was to be at one house, but realize that you really needed the shirt you left at the other house, or you didn't bring the shoes that you wanted. And for your kids, hopefully, they are not packing a bag to go back and forth, right? They have a set of clothes at dad's and a set of clothes at mom's, and they've got shoes here. And there's some things, coats and shoes and whatever else, that travel back and forth. But there's a lot of things that don't. And having that moment and having that realization with my son, being able to go back and be like, wow, it is really hard. And hats off to you. Because since you figured out how to navigate that, when I figured out how to navigate two houses, I became more flexible. I became more patient. I became less attached to having specific things and being able to still find joy or happiness with what I had around me. There are some really positive things that come from having to live in two different spaces. There's a lot of emotions we got to get through before we can be grateful for it. So next time your little one comes up, I don't want to go to dad's, you don't know what happens, it's just not the same. You've got to rely on your inner strength and your inner knowing in whatever choice you decide to make. Is it valuable for that child to have equal access to both parents? If the answer is yes, then your role becomes helping them through it. Yeah, two houses sucks. You are doing a really good job at this, and we're going to figure it out together. Your dad and I, we both really love you. Reestablish that sense of safety, reestablish that sense of security, sit in the muck with them, give them words so that they can start to identify what they're feeling in their body. And I guarantee it'll start to transform your relationship and it'll start to transform the stress and the worry that's going on as well. It's hard. It is. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no fast pass to skip the line. It is what it is. And we all get through it in our own time when we have the right support. So I'm grateful that you guys are here listening. And the last thing I want to call out is if you are struggling with the worry and the anxiety, because here's what happens. Okay, so great. We've taken care of the child. The child is over there. Now let's take care of you. Mom, you just heard your child be very upset about what this divorce has done. And your mind is now also spiraling. Even if you showed up, you did what you needed to do, you said the right things, your child feels better. They're like off skipping down the driveway, getting in dad's car, and away they go for the week. But you're left now with the worry and the fear and the uncertainty. Like, what have I done? Are we going to get through this? This was so painful. If you are struggling in those feelings, the fear, there is a free webinar that I offer called The Other F Word. Fear is probably my all-time favorite topic to talk about. I love fear because it seems so very real, and it actually can be completely fake news. It can be 100% a made up perception of our mind that has so much power that it can change our heart rate. It can change the stress levels in our body. It can change our ability to take action. And the only way we can regain control over it is little by little. We acknowledge it. We take our power back. We shift and focus on what we want. The other F word is going to teach you why does it happen, like what's going on in the brain and what's going on in our automatic nervous system, so that you don't feel so guilty about these runaway thoughts that you're doing great. And then all of a sudden this train has left the station about how worried you are about your kids or the future or the money or the whatever else. There's a reason. There's actually a biological reason. Your brain and your nervous system are fucking with you. I'm going to teach you about that, but then I'm also going to teach you what you can start doing now to take your power back. It's free. You can find more information either in the show notes. I have the link. It's also on the website at the Crazy Ex-Wives Club. It is so empowering to learn how to handle the fear in your life. If you do not nip it, when it is small, fear gets stronger and it gets bigger and it gets louder. So that thing that was a little worry about your kid becomes a bigger worry. And now you start seeing other areas that you think are affecting them. And it starts to change your behavior. What we want to do is make sure that your behavior is always led from your true knowing, your connection to inner self, your trusting of the universe or the powers that be, or just the trusting in yourself to know that you can get yourself and your family through this. Not driven by fear, driven by you, driven by your knowing, your inner confidence, and your inner connection. So if you are at all struggling with it, go to thecrazyexwivesclub.com, click on the link, join the next live session. Otherwise, there are some recorded sessions coming up as well. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Until next week, go write your plan out, grab your journal, figure out what is important to you when it comes to the time your kids spend with your ex, and then give yourself a little grace. Go enjoy the weather as we move into spring, and I will see you next week. And that's it. Another great episode of the Crazy Ex-Wives Club, a podcast for women learning how to heal from their divorce. Tune in next week for more advice and tips to help you figure out life after divorce. And until then, give yourself grace, do the best you can, and know that this is all part of the process.